largest manufacturers of breakfast cereals. So we source product that is excess to their requirements. So for example, they may have a packaging design change. The marketing guys will say, look, we need to update the look, make it contemporary, so our customers are starting to tell us that the packaging design is boring. They'll do market research that will tell them, look, our consumers are saying that maybe the taste is a little bit too sour, so they'll change an ingredient. So on the packaging label, it may change from 0.01 grams per 100 mils per 100 grams of the ingredients to 0.02. That product can't be sold through the supermarket shelf, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. We're also a very good museum of failed product launches. So, as you probably learned in your business studies, 9 out of 10 new products will fail. So you're talking the most sophisticated marketing companies in the world have a success rate of 1 in 10, if they're lucky. Now, what happens to those other 9 products? There's absolutely nothing wrong with the product, but we'll end up with it, and we redistribute it. Instead of throwing it away, instead of it going to landfill, we'll feed it to, we'll provide it to the Salvation Army, to St. Vincent de Paul, to Mission Australia, to Anglicare, all the major charities. We are the hidden pantry of the not-for-welfare sector. Just to give you an idea about some of the products, one of Australia's major producers of manufacturers of baked beans, Heinz, apparently their marketing department received a huge number of complaints from their customers saying, for God's sake, can you give us something that's not baked beans that's not in tomato sauce? So marketing guys listen, because you always listen to your customers. They went out, they did extensive research, they came up. A lot of their customers said, look, if you can put baked beans in gravy, we'll buy it by the tonne. So they went out, put baked beans in gravy, sent it out to all the stores, no one touched it. So there's a lesson. It's one thing to listen to your customers, it's another thing to really understand if what they're telling you is really what they believe. I'll tell you another classic case. If you do marketing at Macquarie University, there is a classic case study where when cake mixes first came out, the R&D guys came to the marketing and business people and they said, we've got a great idea. Women are starting to go to work, they're time poor, and at that time, most of the women also had the household duties for cooking. And so they said, we've come up with this cake mix, all you have to do is add water. And you put it in the oven, whip the powder, and you'll end up with a beautiful cake. They researched it, they asked the women, and they said, this is a great idea. It'll save me hours of time in the kitchen, and also be a little trick for the kids. Put it out again into the marketplace, no one bought it. Absolutely no one bought it. So they went back, and they said, look, you told us that you would buy it. Why didn't you buy it? And the women started to say, look, I feel guilty as a mother just adding water to something. So even to this day, even though you could just add water to a cake mix, that's why you add an egg and a glass of milk, because it is seen as being so healthy, and mothers or anyone who's making that cake feels that they're being a good parent to their kids. So just again, we're the bridge, we're the hidden pantry, and the food ends up with people who can't feed themselves. To give you an idea of how big we are, I know last year it was quoted, we sourced 4 million kilos and we provided the equivalent of 5.3 million meals. It's not enough. That's our challenge. That's your challenge. Your challenge is to help us raise the profile of Foodbank, raise more money so that we can source more food from the 700 food donors, 30 corporate supporters that we have that provide us with IT support, financial support, marketing support, you name it. We supply 2,500 welfare agencies across Australia, and we also supply school breakfasts to 640 schools. across Australia. Because look, it's very hard to imagine, it is very hard to imagine that there are kids out there your age who are coming to school, who haven't eaten breakfast or haven't had dinner. And they may not have had dinner 2 or 3 times in that last week. They may not have had dinner several times during the month. And so by providing a school breakfast, by providing the money to be able to feed those kids, the big difference is, when it's been independently tested, is that educational outcomes improve. Now you guys know, you eat, you have a full stomach, chances are you're going to concentrate more in school, chances are your grades are going to be better than they otherwise would. If your mum is incapable of providing you all the breakfast, what can you do? So that's the opportunity that you guys have. As I said, 8 out of 10 Australians, this is a big challenge for you, 8 out of 10 Australians do not know that 2 million people go to bed hungry during the year in Australia. In Australia, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. There are 2 million people, half of them are kids, 1 million kids. So 1 out of 8 of each of you, of your colleagues outside this room, won't have eaten dinner last night, won't have had breakfast this morning, on a regular basis. As I mentioned to you, nationally, because each state has a food bank, we work collaboratively. We source 28 million kilos of food, 32 million meals, and we help 475,000 people per week. I guess the sad thing is that despite all those numbers, we're still not meeting the demand. We do a survey of all our agencies, of all the 2,500 welfare agencies that we need, to try and gauge just what is the demand for emergency food relief. 85% of our food relief agencies, so 2,000 out of those 2,500 are saying, look, we have to ration the food that we're getting from Foodbank because it's not enough. You guys are studying business, so let me try and explain to you some of the macroeconomic reasons of why this is happening. And it's particularly relevant when you see what's been happening in the stories in the press. Since the GFC hit, and since the Australian economy, and indeed many economies around the world, have opened up, that means the taxes, the tariff barriers on a lot of the products have been lowered. So it's effectively been a lot cheaper to import a lot of the manufactured products that we used to manufacture in Australia and which provided a lot